Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery. It's nice to be with you today. Today is Thursday, September 11th, 2025. We will not have a Zoom tomorrow because of travel. Thank you for being with us. The shared screen is a bit busy, but we'll make sense of it here. On the top left, we have our website, 509 Pacific. This area here, we're just going to use momentarily. Let's start with the agenda here. So, our organization, 509 Pacific, our website, text support line, best way to reach us, 903-347-8042. Past trainings are available on YouTube, and including today's training will be posted there here shortly. In terms of a brief background, our nonprofits received a grant. We have three mandates, one of which is to improve financial literacy, another of which is to give away shelf corps, and the third of which is to get clients funding. We've gone into a lot more depth. If you need more information on what we do and how we do it, please visit our YouTube channel. The purpose of today's training is to go through some Q&A. We've been able to monitor some of the most frequent questions that either prospective grant participants have asked us or that they have asked our distribution partners. So we're going to go ahead and go through those. And that's why I have this pulled up. So let's start with the concept of us providing a free shelf corp. So again, that can be obtained on 509 Pacific. Scroll down, right here's the information, grant packet. So the Shelf Corp, as we've discussed multiple times, normally takes us about 7 days to get those deliverables to the client. And with that, it includes the business plan and the financial projections. The first question that we're covering, which I actually did receive yesterday, is what is the business plan and financial projections? So we had to come up with some standard model, and the standard model that we created is off of a management consulting firm. So management consulting is one of those industry codes that's frankly one of the easiest to get funded. It's not real capital intensive, and it can turn a profit quickly. It's not like we're going to go open a restaurant where there's a lot of upfront capital, a lot of lead time. So all of the shelf corps come standardized as management consulting firms, but we can change any of that for the client. If they want to change the name, the industry, the business plan, the financial projections, that's all fine, but it comes as a business in the box, frankly, ready to go. So the question we received that I'm answering now, the business plan, and frankly, any of you that have sold a shelf corp, then you should have been copied when we delivered it to your client in about 7 days, so you would know this. If you're going through it yourself, you would know this, but I guess we got asked this question from someone that didn't know this. So the business plan is here. So the business plan is standardized because it's a management consulting firm, has built-in financial projections. And I know I'm going through it fast, so I'm just trying to give you an overview, not to go through it in detail. I think we've had other trainings where we went through it in detail. And then also every participant gets a full set of financial projections, 3-year financial projections. So I know that wasn't a detailed answer, but hopefully it's enough to help you understand that all shelf corps are set up as management consulting firms, business plan ready to go, financial projections ready to go, and if the client wants to make changes, we can. Any questions, comments on that? Type it into the Q&A and we'll address it. All right, secondly, we were asked, which is a little surprising, is a commercial address provided? Well, how would we know if a commercial address is provided with each shelf corp? Well, we could go to the website and see that it is. We could look at the client agreement. So let's click on the client agreement packet. Now, each of you, most of you have landing pages, so this is built into your landing page. If you don't have a landing page, then you can do it manually, and we've sent you an editable version of this flyer if you're a reseller, which costs nothing to be a reseller. We've sent you an editable version of the comparison sheet. So this is the flyer, the comparison sheet. Oops, got an initial here. We're going through it as a user would, and then it takes us to the participation agreement. So at the very bottom of the participation agreement, it has a list of deliverables. So the question was, do we provide a commercial address for free with each Shelf Corp? The answer is yes. It's on the flyer. It's in the agreement. It's on the website. All we ask is the client to pay for the mail forwarding because it's their mail. And pretty much anywhere that they would go get an address, they would need mail forwarding. If there's any questions about that, type it in the Q&A. We'll dig in. Next question we had was turnaround time to receive collateral, liquidate collateral, and receive cash. I'm going to go ahead and put some notes on this because it's a bit more complicated. So we provide free collateral with each Shelf Corp. How do we know that? It's on the website. It's in the agreement. Let's go back up. Oops. I guess it's not going to let me go up since I'm in the live version. Sorry. But the bottom line is, yes, we provide a commercial address. We provide the collateral. It's in the agreement. It's on the website. It's on the flyer. So the answer is yes. Turnaround time to receive it. Well, the answer is normally 24 hours. But what I mean by that, I'll put an asterisk, is we need to find out how much collateral the client, the grant participant wants us to transfer, because we prefer to only do one transfer per client because we have legal expenses. We have to pay the law firm to draft up the documents and the bill of sale. So they get free collateral with the Shelf Corp. If they need more than that, we can provide them as much as they need. But we normally transfer it within 24 hours once we know how much they want. So it's fast. The second part is to liquidate collateral. So liquidating the collateral. So the collateral is accounts receivables, the real AR. And with that, the client is the creditor, the person or organization that owes the money is the debtor. We've had complete trainings on this. You can find on YouTube channel. As far as liquidating it, if they want us to, which not everyone wants us to, but it's the norm, we're licensed, bonded, and insured to do debt collection. We can start that normally again within 24 hours. I'll put an asterisk behind it again because we'll start with getting the invoices out and demand letters. If we have to, we'll take them to court. So in terms of when the debtor will pay, some people pay fast, some people pay slow. That varies, but we can get it started very quickly. If there's any questions about that, type in the Q&A and we'll go deeper. All right, this one's also a little bit more complicated, and it shows a bit of a lack of understanding of how the model works. So if we even go back to yesterday's training, on yesterday's training, we went through a detailed discussion of first tranche. And we talked about BA, a real client, real grant participant. He's here with us today. He was on the training yesterday. And we showed you how his first tranche, his first round, was about $850,000. A lot of money. Not to him, probably not to you, but to most of us, 850 funding offers in the first tranche is a lot. So there are multiple cash distributions in our model. So the first we'll call the first tranche. That was our detailed discussion yesterday. And that normally is in client's bank account around, let's say, 10 days from enrollment. So that's about average. Could be a little quicker, could be a little slower. But again, we went into detailed discussion on that just yesterday. So if you want more detail, go to our YouTube channel and watch yesterday's training. But that's not the only type of cash the client receives. That's why I said the question, it's a good question. Any question is a good question, but the question seems to lack understanding of how the model works. Okay, how else does the client get money? Well, then also there is what we call the second tranche, which is the large business funding. The time, but the question wasn't timeline, it was how much. So I'm sorry, I missed the question. How much in the first tranche? varies up almost always less than 500,000. Varies again with BA. He had 850,000. But the first tranche is kind of based on the client's baseline credibility. So some people get a lot, some get a little. It varies. Second tranche, the question is how much cash? It wasn't timeline. I misinterpreted, so we'll get rid of that. I didn't answer the question correctly. Second tranche, how much? Well, it depends on the client, right? Depends on client. The client tells us, we have a process. It's called an intake form. We find out what their capital raise goals are, how much money they want, what they're going to use it for, called uses of funds. And then we build the loan package to match that. So it varies, right? Some clients want 100,000. Some clients want 100 million. So we legally and ethically build the loan package matched to the right type of funding based upon the client's preferences. So there's not a singular answer for that. Where else can a client get cash from our model? We have the opportunity fund, and that's daily deposits. Again, the amount will vary because it's based upon how much the participant wants, but it is a third economic stream. Fourth would be the AR liquidation, which is what was asked about here. So I think this captures it. In general, there are four streams of economic benefit. And Dr. Smith's saying it has to do with AR liquidation. Well, of course. So how do we get money when we liquidate AR? It's by the debtor's paying. So I guess that's what I was addressing there. It varies based upon how soon debtors pay. The more accounts that we're working, the more money that'll come in. Some people pay fast, some people pay slow. If they don't pay willingly, then we litigate, we take them to court, almost always win, of course, because it's debt collection, and we can do garnishments and seizures. We work with a law firm that's called a receivership, but the timeline varies based upon each individual debtor. So there's not a specific answer to these questions because it depends. And that's what we were talking about earlier this week. People can get frustrated with this because a lot of times the answer to the question is it depends on the client's mitigating circumstances. But these are the questions, so that's why we're answering them. Can cash be directed to a different bank account? I'll just go with yes. I guess someone asked that. I mean, clients are always going to determine where the money goes. It's not like someone else is going to determine where their money goes. So to me, that's an obvious yes. This question, I think, is redundant because it's pretty much this. So we're going to get rid of it because we, I think, covered it. If you don't feel like we have, type it into the Q&A. We'll dig deeper. And then we had a question about liquidation. So we've had trainings on this as well. It's on the YouTube channel, but let me attempt to summarize it. So we transfer for free collateral to each client that is getting a free shelf court. They pay a transfer fee to get the shelf court, a processing fee, we call it. The amount of the processing fee is determined by you all, the distribution partners. And at the bottom of 509pacific.org, you can become a distribution partner for free. So there's the free collateral that comes with it, and then also if the client wants and needs more. But regardless of the amount, the question is clear: what's the liquidation in terms of cost? So it's really interesting the way that we do this. So the cost of liquidation is passed on to the debtor. So what does that mean? So the client, the grant participant, is owed money. That's what AR is, and AR is collateral. And let's say it's $1. We'll just do a simple example. They're owed $1. Well, when we go as a licensed bonded insured debt collection agency, when we're going to go collect that dollar from the debtor to get it into your client's pocket, of course we need to get paid. But what we do is we add our collection cost on top of that dollar. So instead of the grant participant, your client, paying us to collect the money that's owed to them from the debtor, we add that to the principal amount. Therefore, the cost of the liquidation is passed on to the debtor. And so, and that's kind of the way debt collection normally works, is so we are paid after the debt is collected, and the amount that we're paid is added on to the debtor's bill. So it's a great deal. Your client doesn't have to pay us to liquidate the AR. All right, so again, we got to end up in shortly, but let's go through the questions. So I see Amanda Stanley is calling us right now, and she is on the Zoom. So Amanda, you're multitasking over there. Amanda's a great example. So Amanda filled out the funding proposal app either yesterday or the day before, but this week she quickly got cash offers, which is awesome. But Amanda's one of those people that said, no, I don't want those offers. And so she declined the offers from my understanding. And the same with BA. BA got was over 850,000. I don't know if he's accepted any, but that's what happens, right? Some of these people are picky, and I mean that in a good sense. And so just because they have 100, 200, 500, 750, $850,000 in front of them with interest rates as low as 6%, some of them decline the offers, and the clients do not have to accept the offers extended. I know that sounds kind of crazy because most of our clients, right, want money and need money, but that's the beauty of the model. If Amanda didn't like the offers that she got, I forget what it was, 150, 200,000. She didn't like it. She didn't have to accept it. BA doesn't want his 850,000. That's fine. We'll keep working and find different types of funding that better meets everyone's needs. All right, so let's see here what questions we have. Again, we're going to end early today because we've got a closing that we're doing in a few minutes. Yeah, so for individualized support, we have the tech support line. So some of you are asking questions regarding your circumstance, and that this is not how we address that, right? Because we've got 635 of you on. So individual questions best addressed here, or schedule a one-on-one. If you need to schedule a call, you can schedule, and that is calendly.com for funding if you need to schedule. All right, so let's see if there's anyone else have any questions, kind of FAQs that we need to cover that we didn't address. All right, Doug's asking a little bit more about the website, and Doug may be new, so that's fine, Doug. Welcome. So on 509pacific.org, this is our main website. At the top, you've got quick cash information. If you don't know what that is, you can go to our YouTube channel, learn more about it, or even there's an on-demand training right here, and then the packet. So that's, we'll call it section 1 of the website. Section 2 has to do with entrepreneurs, small business owners that's looking for money to start or grow a business. And we go through the process, which we've described. There's a training on the process. There's a training comparing different types of funding. And then to participate, it's right here, the grant packet. So there's a grant packet for the quick cash. There's a grant packet for the free shelf corp. So that's the section 2, the midsection, and then the final section of 509pacific.org is if you want to be a referral partner. There's no cost to be a reseller, not even a contract, no performance requirements. There are 3 trainings that we ask you to watch: learn how to get paid, understand the shelf corp model, and then asset-based lending versus SBA. There's many different types of funding in the marketplace that we can help with, but these are frankly the 2 most common. So we have training comparing those. And just so you know, this 3rd training here is actually the same as this one. It's just who's the target audience. Target audience for this section are people looking for capital raises. the target audience for this are people that are looking to get paid to help people with their capital raise. And then there's the distribution partner inquiry form. Fill this out, and in short order, we'll get back with you. We get lots and lots of inquiries, so we're a few days behind. Don't worry about that. All right. Well, I think we covered what we wanted to today. These were the Q&A, the FAQs that we were asked. We wanted to address it as a group so everyone could benefit from it. We will not have a Zoom tomorrow. We will be back Monday morning, which would be September 15th. Of course, our offices are open, just no Zoom tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you back on the Monday morning Zoom. Have a great day. Bye-bye.